No, I think when like you're restricted, it leads to extreme scrappiness. I want wigs to feel like beauty. I want it to feel like not a daunting task for our customer, but something fun, easy, expressive. For the wigs right now, we have 40,000 people on our wait list.
When you sit down and you're like, this is our target consumer, this is who we're going after, do you think it's you?
Welcome to More Than the Hype, the podcast where we go beyond the surface, beyond the trends, and straight into real, unfiltered conversations about business. I'm your host, Kristin Taylor. Grab a glass of wine from KT Winery, or water because moisture is important, and let's get into it. Because success is more than just the hype. Everyone, welcome back to More Than the Hype. I am so excited to have my Black Ambition sister, fabulous, magical founder who's literally killing it in re-energizing, I would say, the hair care game, the wig game. I think it's an industry that we all use, but maybe don't know enough about the back end, or we haven't had solutions for. But it's one of the biggest industries, I think, it personally, in beauty. It's one of the most overlooked industries, and it's definitely not being revolutionized by many Black women. And I'm super excited to have Aasiyah from the Renatural here on the podcast. Hi, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. I think we actually had this conversation when we were sitting across each other at Tatiana, when I told you I was going to do it, and you
Oh
said,
my God, yeah.
remember? Um,
Yeah.
And so it's been ingrained in my mind since then. I was like, okay, she said she would, so I'm gonna hit her up because I need to talk about this crazy, big, beautiful business you built. I obviously heard about you through Black Ambition, and I heard you pitch on stage and was like,
Ugh.
you did what? No, you have such good presence.
Oh, thank you. Pitching was not my forte, but you get things done, or you just do uncomfortable things when you have a business. So,
It's doing a lot of hard things, for sure. I would love if you could kind of introduce yourself. I love your story and your background, and I think it has a lot to do maybe with how you've built this business, because I think you come at it from such a different angle than we see in a lot of American-made companies. You have a real global view of the world, and I think that you're like actually having that type of culture and insight has really built this. So could you give the people kind of a background about you?
that was thoughtful. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Aasiyah. I was born in London, but I was raised in a really rural part of Ireland. So as you can imagine, there wasn't many places for me to get my hair done. And then at 12 years old, I was diagnosed with incurable scalp psoriasis. This makes your hair shed excessively, and then got me into hair extensions, wigs a lot. And also being a Black woman, it was kind of like a natural part of like exploring more of the hairstyles that you were allowed to do. Um, this followed me through my undergrad, where I wrote my dissertation about the wig industry. There's a methodology called follow the thing. So it's where you embody an inanimate object and write about your life history. People usually do like MacBooks or Converses or pieces of fruit, but I wanted to do wigs because I thought like no one else would do wigs. Became obsessed with that paper so much that I moved to South Korea for 6 months to work at the world's biggest hair factory. And it was there I got to see how things were done. um, and that like hubris, I was looking around thinking I could do things so much
Hmm.
better. And then I moved back to the UK and started up my other business, my previous business, which was an ethical clothing line. I bootstrap launched and sold that. And this was still on my mind, this wig idea. So I reinvested the profits I made into what is now known as the Renatural.
I love it. Okay, you really like skirted over the fact that you built your business first, which I actually think is really important to talk about, because a lot of people get discouraged when their first at bat isn't the business that they either stick with and grow, or maybe they're having, struggles with it, or maybe they need to wind it down. I personally had other businesses before I started KT Winery and Mom Juice. So can you tell us just a little bit about that business and how you decided to wind it down? Was it just like an overwhelming desire to get into the wig side, or like what was the passion there?
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of volunteer work and I got like a free sewing machine for some reason. And I started like amending my clothing. I'm 5 foot, so I amend everything. Yeah, not fun. And I got really good at it. And then I started like putting together a piece of fabric. And then I was one of the most popular sellers on Depop by my handmade clothing. I decided to transfer that onto a website. Back in the day, this was like 2018 maybe.
Oh, wow.
Shopify. So I got into Shopify, then started advertising like on Tumblr, and our posts would go like viral on Tumblr. And then they were like African inspired two pieces. I would like get my auntie in Nigeria to ship me fabric to my apartment, and then I would make everything by hand. And I remember this so specifically. After my 60 seconds pair of shorts, I was like, I'm not making another pair of shorts. So I started to like hire local people in the area. It was like consistent work for them. And then I transferred all manufacturing to Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
And that's, yeah, we got to hire a lot. We worked with an organization for solo mums, and they worked for like 3 months out of the year because I paid them the British minimum wage, which in Nigeria was like 16 times the Nigerian minimum wage.
Yeah, you were building people's families. That's beautiful.
So it was great. It allowed them to like work for 3 months of the year or like rest, look after their kids, go back to university. It was like it was a great experience. But someone wanted to buy it. And honestly, I love fashion, but I didn't have that deep burning desire for it. So I just got to explore it through that lens. So yeah, they bought it and I was like, this is okay, done and dusted. Now I can focus on my passions. Yeah.
One, I love that someone wanted to buy the business, but also that you had the wherewithal to say, like, this isn't for me. Sometimes I feel like people chase the money and not the passion. And
Hmm.
you know as well as I do that passion is the only thing that kind of takes you through all the hard parts of
Hmm.
building these big businesses. Um, I want to talk also about how you got into Renatural because you did something really interesting, which I think is really clever and kind of created almost like an MVP piece before you went into the big shabam. And that is the wig fix, which I have. Thank you again so much. I want to let you know I have fixed my wigs multiple times with this.
Yeah.
So, can we talk a little bit about that strategy and how you got that idea to start that way?
Yeah, of course. Just before, you made me sound much better than I actually am. I wanted to build something really scalable, and I felt very limited by a clothing line that I also wasn't I mean, I was hugely invested in and all the impact it made on on people's lives, but I wasn't like passionate about like making clothing. I didn't want to build another collection. So yeah, I just want to take
That's
myself down off that path, yeah, and build something more scalable. With the Renatural. So yeah, again, you make it sound so smart. Like in hindsight, I did not start out that way. I was like, what is one core customer problem that I could focus on, um, that I could help people with and build like literally from my apartment at the time. And I told myself how to make a CAD. Again, you can do anything on YouTube. I designed a product.
wow.
And got speaking with a manufacturer. Actually, I borrowed my friend's 3D. Well, I didn't borrow. I guess I just took it. My friend's 3D printing credits, and it 3D printed like 40A silicone. So it was imagine the Wig Fix, but 10 times like thicker. Yeah, it was
Wow.
like painful, but I was like, it sort of works.
Yeah, you're like
Um,
vision.
so then I found a manufacturer who got to print like the soft jelly silicone that we now know as a Wig Fix. And I wanted to focus on the point of security because that was an imminent problem. I could get it in front of the customer, I could build a community, and then it gave me a pathway to build more products in the future, which is what we're focusing on now.
Yeah. You say it sounds so smart, but you literally taught yourself how to like work in CAD. That's wild. On YouTube.
YouTube, yeah. I am very much like where there's a will, there's a way kind of person. So,
Well, I mean, I think what I have, what I know about you and what I'm always consistently learning about you is at the end of the day, you're a businesswoman. Like you're
oh, thanks.
going to get it done and also going to move the ball forward, right? Like however that needs to happen, that's the plan. That's how you're going to do it. I think the Wig Fix was such an interesting idea because you did serve so many people and that helped you get to this. How many people were on your wait list again for the wigs?
For the wigs right now, we have 40,000 people on our wait list. Yeah. Keeps you up at night. I'm joking.
Girl, yeah, yeah. I'm sure you just sit there like, Jennifer, Crystal. How did you even do that? So, in context, I think we have a lot of founders who listen to this podcast more than anything else. So,
Mhm,
and even, as a product based business owner myself, it's amazing to think about doing something like a pre order, pre sell, or waitlist. I think
mhm.
it's much harder to do than we give it credit for. You did it fairly successfully. What was the strategy behind that? Like, how did you put it out into the world?
Yeah, so I mean, it really started with our initial product. The Wig Fix retails for $29, and other security type products retailed for anywhere from 50 cents to $5 in the industry. So we definitely siphoned off the person willing to invest more in security, realism, wearability. So it starts from there. So when I'm telling that customer demographic, I'm building a hyper realistic wig, and we can get into that more later. They're more inclined to respond to us. So that's where we started. And then, quite frankly speaking, I moved to the US and I got a lot of opportunities to do like speaking gigs and pitch competitions, like the Fearless Fund Annual Summit. I think it was in 2023, like 2,000 signups over the weekend. Because,
Oh,
I mean, it was Atlanta, it was a Fearless Fund, it was like kind of the perfect mesh of people that would be interested in my product.
yeah, right time, right place. Yeah.
Right. And then just word of mouth as well. I did a lot of customer service, especially in like the first 9 months of like starting the Renatural. I went above and beyond with customer service because it didn't feel like I was doing the most. It just felt like this is really interesting. For example, I had a lot of people with first time wig wearers or who were just coming out of remission and like they just want someone to talk
Mhm.
to. Like wigs are a very intimate product, it's very clandestine industry and people just wanted someone to talk to. So I would like literally have an hour phone call on them feeling insecure about going to work the next day wearing a wig. And I'll be like, no, you look great. Maybe shift it to the side a little. Wear a headband wig. Start out that way. And like people really appreciate that because when you follow up in 2 years' time, they remember that 1 hour, the 45 minutes you spent talking to them. So we have a lot of word of mouth that organically happened as well.
Well, I love that. And you probably learned so much too,
Yeah.
right, about your customer and what they really, were struggling.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And also like having scalp psoriasis, it's incurable. Luckily like it's manageable, but I can like
Mhm.
relate to that, you know? And I think that's like I mean obviously it's not a great thing to have, but I guess it's a plus in a way.
You're
Silver
taking a
lining.
minus and
Yeah.
making it a plus. Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
it positive. Well, I think what I'm wondering, do you consider yourself the customer? Like when you sit down and you're like, this is our target consumer, this is who we're going after, do you think it's you? Or do you feel like it's like inspired and completely different? Like, tell me how you picture this. Cause obviously with the wine brand, I'm not a mom. And that's, number one. I don't know if people know that. I say it a lot. I don't think people hear it. They just, "Boop." But I'm not necessarily the target consumer, but I'm pre the target consumer. Like I'm the rich auntie version, right? And I have to sit back and think like, okay, I'm not building this for me. I'm building this for Regina or Yvonne, so it's different, but like I think that we want similar things, but maybe there's like the way I talk to that person is different than how I want someone to talk to maybe me. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I definitely don't see myself as the customer. I see myself like I don't know, emulating some of the customer characteristics maybe, but not I'm not the customer. I mean, this might sound a bit facetious, but I've always felt like the brand is so much bigger than me. Like I've never been through remission. I like even when it comes to black hair, like I was raised in London and Ireland. Like someone who's raised in like, I don't know, Perth, Australia or Mississippi, like yeah, we may all have grown up with maybe pink oil products and the silicone, the sheen or whatever, but we have like maybe very different attitudes towards our hair because of like, I don't know, weather or religion or like I like to see my customer and myself as like super multifaceted, but we have like overarching
Mhm.
themes that like align us. But so, yes, enough to empathize with the customer, enough to relate with the customer, but I'm not the full
Yeah.
customer.
And that is interesting, right? Because wigs are so cross-cultural, like between Jewish, if you're, certain sects of Jewish women cannot show their hair after they're married, or okay, cancer survivors or anyone going through remissions, or women who just want to switch it up, or you have so many different points you're talking to. How do you do that? How do you maintain like one tone of voice, or are you not and you're like talking to people differently? Like how do you, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in North London just a tidbit, and like the first big order was 200 wig fixes. When I got that order, I was like, oh my God, I'm in business. It was actually from a woman selling to women in her local synagogue in North London, and I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, that was like my first big order. I'll never forget that. But I think the Renatural, I think my head of brand marketing is gonna like hear this and kill me, but we're basic. We create the best, arguably the best type of wigs that have ever existed. We don't define why you wear your wigs. We just make it the most seamless and gracious and beautiful experience. So it's really that simple for us.
Everything doesn't need to be so complicated. Like I'm really like, what are you doing? Oh, it's good, amazing. I'll take 5. Like, love it. Like I and I don't think women really have enough time to sit there and go through a brand's story, promise, feelings, touchiness to like. We want to know if it works. We want to know if the brand has a good like they have good ethics behind them in general, and that our hair's not going to fall out.
Yeah, I think it really starts with like a great product and then they're sold into like the brand imagery and aesthetics and community later on. But yeah, for wigs is such a complicated space. Like I've worked in this industry for years now, and then if you ask me, hey, apart from the Renatural, of course, where can I find a great wig? I would be like, oh, where are you going? How long do you need it for? How do you want your like? There's so many complicated facets to it. So we just wanted something really simple when it came to like brand.
So when you obviously you had Wig Fix, and then you had this I think the root of the business, the core of the business, right? You had this idea to then go and make a patent wig or a patent wig process. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah.
What was the process of going through patenting? Like, how was that? I assume I mean, I'm, going through, but we're in a very early stage and you have like gotten there. What is that like? And what, like, is it just you're streaming with lawyers and also you have R&D specialists and you're also working with engineers? Like, who's on the team to make this happen for everyone?
Me. Hi. um, we patented we patented the Wig Fix. So that gave me like such great like background on like how it's done and the process and how expensive it is.
I was wondering it because if you like search for it, you see a lot of people trying to like bid against the terms on Amazon, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen one copycat recently, actually. And
Well, that's great too.
I was shocked because I was like, no
Um,
one's
I wanted to mention patenting a product and protecting a product, two completely different things. I love to look at companies like that are quite patent heavy, like PopSocket. They will litigate.
girl
There's
litigate.
also Lashify. There's also PopSocket, Lashify, and another shower cap with
Mm.
2, 3 H's. So like studying from like those founders on how to protect your IP, because I mean it is something you've created. Like strategy wise has been really great for me. I don't know any of these founders personally, but they have shared their stories on numerous platforms. So learning from other people is like number one. So you don't like repeat the same mistakes, or you can learn from like a great strategy. Finding a great lawyer. I think with like the patent process, it will serve you in the long run to go with a great lawyer because you don't want your patent application to be declined and then you're like amending and resubmitting. That is really expensive over time. And I also would also recommend to file like a PCT. So that's like a pre-patent application. So it gives you like I think 18 months to 2 years to decide which countries you want to file like the full utility patents in, and you can backdate your patent to that date. So yeah.
And I think the patenting process is so interesting too because it does give you, well, when you do the pre-patent, right, it gives you a chance to refine your process a little bit too.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
it patents and trademarks now are no longer, oh, you have a proof that you did this. It's first come, first serve in the US now. It's literally who got the application in first, which is
Hmm.
wild. So there is kind of also that. But I want to like, I know this is a swing to the left, but this is one of the most important things I think is paying for a good lawyer and knowing that the lawyer is good, because there's a lot of big law firms you need to get some recommendations and references of actual
Absolutely.
clients, and you need to like, my best way of doing is asking them, like, give me like a smattering of people who you serve, and I reach out to them directly. I don't let them intro me, um, because like you said, it can't get rejected. It's
Hmm.
thousands of dollars, months, and now you're back to square one versus just
Hmm.
paying up front for someone who knew what they were doing. And I know that there's these trademark lawyers on Instagram that offer trademarking for $700 or whatever. I'm not into it. I'm really not. I think there's something to be said about a reputable firm.
Another brand I want to mention that I learned a lot from, like with the whole IP process, is Hairbrella. They're based in the US, and I think she filed it herself, which is incredible. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of founders have shared their stories on that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
go
coming
check
from
them
them,
out.
really.
Yeah. Also, I have to listen to that story because patent paperwork is wild. So
I know, I know. I'm super impressed. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about like early wins, early hurdles. Like, obviously, the 200 order probably was like a nice, feather in your cap. What was some other struggles that you went through, and how did you get through them, or how did they resolve themselves? Is also another way to approach it.
Yeah. So shipping to the US was a huge problem. I was based in London at the time, and US customers just were 80% of my market from day one till today. Still majority of my market by a long mile. They were paying $30 shipping for a $30 product. It was wild, yeah. So I contacted like a 3PL company who had 3PL in the UK, but also one in the US.
Mm,
And they were like, we have a 500 order minimum a month. And I just hit like 400 orders. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna like, I don't know if I'll reach that a month. Like, that was too much for me. So they're just like, okay, you can like stack it up. So I did like a kind of pre-order over a 2 month window. In those 2 months, we managed to sell like 2,000 units. So then I shipped like 5,000 units to some 3PL in Ohio, and they shipped it all out within 48 hours. It was pretty amazing to see. When you work with a great 3PL, I think they were really impressed that I came back and was like, hey, I have 2,000 orders now. Can you ship them out like
what's up?
in
Yeah.
this week? And they were fantastic to work with, especially being based in the UK at the time. So that was a hurdle.
I listened to that and I'm like, wow, one, that's great velocity. But two, how did you, like, you funded that as well, right? Because it's great to have money coming in, and pre-orders are great for that too. It really does help. But when you're producing a product, there's a lot of pre-costs, like before you even get to the point of actually the manufacturing piece. Was it grants? Was it investment? How did you get this done?
Yeah. God, I won my first grant like 3 years into the business, so it definitely was not grants. Um, yeah, the grant landscape is very different in the UK. I I funded. So I had some money. So I invested like £15,000 of my own money into the business, but I was also like I had to live a life and pay myself. So there's money in that that people never really add into. So there's
Like,
like money for
mom's got
that.
to pay rent. Like,
Um, and then I think it was just super scrappy, like, like my friend lending me their 3D printing credits. Um, you can like get sketches made in like the public library in the UK. Yeah,
cool.
the public libraries are like the best for like free resources. Like I didn't have like this CAD software, they did, and it's completely for free. Um, I don't know. I think when like you're restricted, it leads to extreme scrappiness. Because I would like say, hi, let's have like a Chinese night or something. Because I'm not the biggest fan of pizza, and then my friends will come over, and I'll be like, okay, 50 units you have to pack to get your free meal. And like that's how I got like all of those units shipped to the US so fast. So yeah, just being really scrappy and also like leveraging the people around you because they do want to help.
We do. We you'll be able to know that this is such a big no-no. When we first made our first wine, we didn't put a barcode on it because we thought it was direct to consumer only, but like it wasn't, and we had to sell in store all of a sudden, and there's no barcode. So we hired Macy's, my business partner's son and his best friend, had them drive 3 hours up away and sent some stickers through Sticker Mule before before Sticker Mule was sticker muling, and had them hand apply it to 2,000 bottles of wine. Which, think about that, like the breakability of picking up each of those bottles in a warehouse. And our distributor was looking at us like, girl, what is happening? That was wild.
Shout out to Macy's son, your
Shout
friend.
out.
Right?
We hire him for a lot of random things. Like, I need moved. Are you available? College student life. But it does make you scrappier, and you do start to think like, who, who's trying to fund their Europe trip for their college tuition, or who's trying to fund whoever, who's available. And also sometimes people do just want to help for free or for Chinese, and I love that. And
They're friends. You don't think
you
you
know,
should grab a task rabbit and be like, hey, make you dinner instead of paying you.
well, it's interesting because I think we celebrate like women for baby showers a lot, and we celebrate women for weddings. And as a non-married woman, I've spent so much money on everyone else's wedding and baby shower and whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm calling in a favor. I need you to do this one thing for me. And it's amazing people show up, and you give them the opportunity to show up, though, too. I think that's also important.
I've actually not thought about it that way, and that's real.
Girl,
Like,
we've
here's a
invested
baby
in
shower from my business. Like, yeah, I love that.
we've invested. We need a ROI, okay? How do you turn customers into brand advocates? Because I feel like when you look at your Instagram following, it's a real show of that, right? From the Waitlist to now this massive, 68,000 followers on Instagram. I haven't looked on TikTok. And it seems to me like your customers have stayed really loyal. How do you do that? How does it make you feel to see it?
It never gets old. And it honestly has turned me into like I'm a top 1% Google reviewer. Like I review everything because I know how it feels to get a good review. Um, yeah, it's like cringe. I'll go to like a local bodega and I'll be like, well stocked, great communication. Um, but yeah, it feels great. I mean, that never gets old. And as for like building customer and brand loyalty, I think in this specific industry, which is the industry I can speak of, um, having a good and solid product and selling it in an authentic way. I think the wig industry is very shrouded by selling to the caricature of a black woman or selling to what they think a certain type of woman in a religious community wants, or it's like you just gone through a really tough time. It's like selling to someone with an ailment and making them feel like a sick person, where it's like this is just something that should alleviate any issues that they're having. I think they try and dictate to you who you are. And I think that's very overwhelming to some people. Or maybe it's overwhelming. They don't even realize it until they experience a different kind of brand. And it's like a breath of fresh air. Just from a lot of like customer feedback, positive interviews, like I think that really resonates with people.
Yeah, you're speaking to them, not at them.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's you feel that. You feel that as a customer. You feel it when you walk a shelf at Target. You feel that. Speaking of Target, would you go retail for the Wig Fix? Obviously, I assume for wigs it's probably much harder to do because you're building them custom. But is that something that's in the path, or are you feeling e-commerce is like where you're gonna stay and thrive?
So definitely having a few exciting conversations, but I'll keep you
We won't say
updated.
anything, and we're just gonna
Yeah.
cross our toes, cross our fingers. Okay, okay, this is exciting. Um, I want to talk just a little bit about like what's next. What are you working on right now? Um, what's your team building?
So we launched the Wig Fix. We started off with that, and now we are building product number two. But it entails so much; it feels like a whole new company, to be honest. So we are building the Renatural wig. It has no lace. It has no wefts. We've invented a material that's 10 times thinner than the current lace on the market, allowing like a hyper realistic and contoured fit feel design. These wigs can last for 5+ years, and you're really going to be in the Renatural community in that. We're launching an insurance program, so you can continuously repair your wig or swap it out for something else. And we are able to do this because we have built a machine that allows us to make wigs on demand. So a fully 360 ventilated wig, which can take months to make, it takes us minutes, and we can do everything from New York or wherever we have our machines. So I'm currently in the manufacturing facility. I have like a clear angle because
Yeah.
our patent is pending on our machine. So again, we're bringing up patents
No,
again.
we're
Yeah,
under wraps. Under wraps.
so that's what we're building, and we're finally launching a wig because we get hundreds of customer requests being like, "How, where can we buy a wig?" Obviously, because we sell the Wig Fix accessory, which works with a wig that we don't sell. But we've actually out innovated ourselves. Our base fabric is just it naturally contours to the wearer's head over time, so you don't need the Wig Fix long term. So that's also a great tidbit.
It's just so cool. And to think that this started with a CAD drawing
I
at a
know.
library is wild.
I know.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
wow. Because how long have you been in business now?
Since 2020. So like this is will be our fifth year of business.
So what does long-term success look like? Like, what is, we do this a lot in entrepreneurship or startup life where it's like, give us your 5-year pro forma and your 5-year plan. And, timelines are very relative, I think, in startup life. But what do you see the vision being for this company?
I want wigs to feel like beauty. I think it's like the ugly sister of the beauty industry, even though it's one of the fastest growing categories. But I want it to feel like not a daunting task for our customer, but something fun, easy, expressive. That would be like the ultimate goal. And then more tangibly speaking for the business, definitely like more machines. I mean, when you build a machine, like it has robotic capabilities, but I want to expand that with machine two, machine three, and above. And then build out like our manufacturing site in the city. And then hopefully have people come in because people get really excited when they see something being made in front of them, and it's like, here's your wig. That's that's an experience that I didn't think a lot of people would like really love, but it's been a great reaction so far. So
And it's in New York, right? So it's like you have this sense of fashion and beauty, and it's you are making it cool, and you're
yeah.
making it less ugly stepsister and more like rise. I love it. Speaking of beauty, what we're gonna kind of move into some like personal things. I guess I'm calling them personal things. I think more so just rituals. What is your like top 3 brands you're using in the beauty space right now that you're like loving either because the product is great or you're really enjoying like the customer experience or you just think they're killing it with branding and social?
Killing it with branding. I know this is an obvious one, but I really like Counterfeit. I mean, the fact that they hired a creative director, I just think it's beautiful. Like they really
She's
deeply
killing it.
like it's stunning. Yeah, then it's doing a great job. A kind of holy grail would be like Tangle Teaser. I own like so many different types. I don't know if the founder, if he knows what he did for like people with 4B, 4C hair, but Tangle Teasers are brilliant. And then actually hasn't been delivered yet, but there's a company called Sotra. They do like at-home foldable steamers, and my hair loves a good steam, so I can't wait to get that.
I've literally been thinking about that, like making my home feel more like a spa because wash day is such a thing.
I mean, you're doing a good job with that plant behind you. Very green.
Girl, thanks, girl. It's wild too in Colorado to like but I have this nice window in front of me, so it's been a strategic. Did I rearrange my entire living room for this plant? I did. I did. I'm
With
dedicated.
to this
Terrific.
plant and my sourdough. Those are my two children right now. It's
Oh my God. Can I have a fourth brand? Sugar dough. Like it's a sugaring paste waxing. That is like my holy grail. There's nothing else I would use. Also an
sugar dough.
amazing female founder. Yeah.
Okay, I
They
love
have
it.
yeah, they're great. You
Okay.
just said like sourdough and I was just like
You're
sugar
like
dough. I
sugar
use
dough.
like every other week. It's perfect. Yeah.
I think it's great. Okay, I let's move into some rapid fire. This is always like the fun thing of can we make it rapid or do we get lost in the sauce? What is your favorite beauty ritual right now?
Oiling, moisturizing and oiling my scalp. I have like an aloe vera gel and jojoba oil, and I love how it makes my hair feel, I guess.
That sounds so
Yeah.
relaxing.
Oh, I have a better answer. Washing your hair in the bath. So I just saw a random video on TikTok and it was like black women should wash their hair in the bath more. And it's like it is the sensory, it's incredible. Like imagine having just endless amounts of water, your full head submerged. Like we
Oh,
rarely wash our hair out of like sinks and in the shower and it's just like it was it sounds like ridiculous, but if you get it, you get it.
no,
So
no, like I'm
I would
imagining just
yeah,
like dunking and
it
then
was
like
yeah, it
it's
was
kind of like why I
everything it
like
was cut out to be. Pardon?
it's one of the reasons I love going to the pool is because you get to feel the movement and the oh, love
Yeah,
that.
that was great. And that's going to be part of my routine from now.
I love it. Next one. What entrepreneur right now is inspiring you the most?
Apart from you, um,
Friend.
probably close to home. Probably Olamide Oloa. She's founder of Topicals. She's also one of our
Oh,
angel investors. She's just her mind, her mind, amazing.
well, because didn't she just acquire another business?
Brad, yeah,
Killing it, killing it. And I love that she's one of your investors. That completely tracks, actually. Yeah, yeah. Topicals is a cool brand in general
yeah,
too.
awesome.
Um, morning routine in 3 words.
Slow, peaceful, prayerful.
Oh, love that. Are we listening to like music, songs? Are we?
No, I'm an early riser. I'm one of those annoying 5
You
a.m.
are an
founders.
early
I
riser,
really
girl.
am.
You showed me in Martha's Vineyard. I thought I
Yeah.
got up early one day. I was like, oh, she is awake.
Yeah, and that's literally just because I like to be lazy. I like to enjoy my rent in the morning, just like walk around my apartment, just like chill, get ready for the day. It's not because I'm doing things, I just like to have that hour to just like be.
Enjoying your rent is so real. One thing I put on my calendar that I think has made me such a better person is I completely block off from 8 to 9 a.m. every day on my calendar.
I love it.
No one can book a meeting because I need to be able to like be slow, be intentional. Sometimes I do skincare extra long. I know that sounds really wild, but I work all
No,
the time, right? So like
yeah.
carve that out. So I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, Anna and I and Martha's Vineyard, like talking about like how you can wake up in the middle of the night because you get such a good idea about your business. Like you're literally on 24/7, like in our days.
So real. What keeps you grounded from like you're building the startup? Is it your team? Is it family? Is it the people in the 40,000 people wait list? Like what keeps you motivated to keep pushing? Because girl, you've been pushing.
I think I just really want to see new things exist in the world. I think this like is a really niche vertical that needs a lot of innovative products and people are really resonating with it. So that keeps me going. Yeah, it's just
That's I
I
mean,
like it, I guess.
yeah. Okay, last question. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, you're a businesswoman. If in some a startup founder or someone who is inspiring comes up to you, and I'm sure you get this question all the time of what advice do you have? What would be the one thing someone entering the beauty and hair space, like what would be the one key that you could give them?
I think in this time, at this current specific time, building with intentionality is really well received. I think we've gone through the whole like spiel of having, great brands and like products that, they're just products and the brand really sells it, but people are really leaning into intentionality, especially like in this time. So if you can have something that stands out, product wise, or like just the way you're communicating with your customer, accessing your customer. I would really hone in on that.
I love it. Now let's get into the good part. Where can people find you? How can they connect with you? How can they join this wait list if it's still open? Tell me the things.
Yeah, so you can join our mailing list on the renatural.com, we're the Renatural on all social platforms, and I guess you can find me on LinkedIn at Aasiyah Abdulsalam.
I love it. And anything else that you wanted to make sure we got in? Anything else you want to say to make sure we give you that space?
Um, no, just listen to the podcast, guys, because
Yes, I love it. Okay, Hasia, it was so great to have you. I think this is a perfect example that innovating doesn't always mean reinventing the wheel. Sometimes it just means making the turn smoother and making the experience better for people. And at the end of the day, if you can build a product that solves a problem and then from there use that customer feedback like you have, that's really where the magic comes in. So I'm so excited that we got to do this. It's been a long time coming from the table to Tatiana to now. And I'm excited to just be a watcher on your journey. And I'm just so proud of you as a friend. And it's been inspiring to watch you. So thank you again for coming on.
oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. All right, everyone. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. It means a lot. Lets me know who you want to have on, who if you enjoyed who was on and you want a part two. Please leave that in the comments below. And thanks. That's a wrap for today's episode of More Than the Hype. If you love this conversation, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps way more than you know. Until next time, stay bold, stay real, and keep chasing the hype.